politely started tailgating. If you can imagine politely tailgating, it's just
Get the fuck off the road, you dog.
you know, a beat, nothing, started flashing.
If I was in front of Imran, you know the first thing I would do is fucking get your license plate and report you.
This is coming from a guy who used to carry a suitcase to school. A rolling suitcase.
Yeah, fucking going to the airport, are we?
Yeah, you fucking nerd.
Diablo.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners, to another episode of No Grandmas Allowed. We've got, he's been mentioned on the podcast a few times before. He's a really good guy and a great friend. I only say that because he's horrible at taking compliments. They're very humble, they're very modest, and a massive fucking burden on my shoulders since day one. Amir!
Hey! No, I was you said a few things and I was just fucking angry, but that's cool. That's good that we're here. Thanks for inviting me into your fucking podcast.
What's with the shirt, dude?
What shirt?
What's it say on your shirt?
Oh, no, I bought it in Turkey.
Are you fucking serious?
What?
Did you get a shirt made just for me?
I would not go out of my way just for you. I bought this shirt.
Oh, that's funny.
It was just a general shirt. It was next to a Nike tick, dude.
Dude, in Turkey...
If anything, I bought it from Adidas or Nike. Either or.
So you're telling me that Nike or Adidas in Turkey have stock standard shirts that say Imran, first of all, last name mispronounced, so it's got to be someone else. Akapala is the biggest flop.
Hey, at least this shirt, right, is properly spelling your name, dude. Like, you're in denial this whole time. Your shirt, this shirt is your last name, dude, and your name.
No, it's not. I've been telling you for fucking years, and my last name is Akpala, not Akapala.
Okay, well, here's another sense of proof, right? Apart from also looking at your driver's license and passport, remember how Ali, shout out to Ali Farhat, who used to always get our Parramatta yearly tickets, right?
Yeah.
How was your name spelt? Huh?
Akapala.
How was your name spelt?
Akapala.
Like that, dude.
That doesn't fucking legitimize my last name too.
Hey, but also I said your driver's license and passport.
No, it's not. You're saying it with confidence.
You didn't disagree.
You
know what? This is your name, and I got it from Turkey, dude. Like, I remember in high school, you always had your name wrong.
What, the proper way?
I don't know. What does Akapala mean?
Ak is the color white in Turkish, and pala is dagger, so it means white dagger.
Apala, dagger. That makes sense.
You mentioned high school. Do you remember how we met? Because I actually can't remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I swear, I can't remember how we met.
Full disclosure, Imran used to be a female. His balls didn't drop until he was fucking 20. And then suddenly it was just like, holy shit, I could actually talk to you now, and you're not weird.
So, the reason for that is because my voice was really high pitched back in the day, right?
Yeah. Oh! If only I had the proof to show everyone. If only. Oh my gosh, people would die, dude. People would actually die.
In science class one time, I'm sitting there, and the substitute teacher at that day was reading a book, and he was saying, "Okay, let's do some dictation. You read," and then it was my turn. She goes, "Okay, now she can read." And my whole fucking world was devastated because the entire class started laughing.
She reads, and you were in fucking male uniform?
I was in male uniform because you had boys and girls, and they both had their own uniform.
Some things don't come.
So you clue into that for starters, but it was also because, firstly, I had long hair, and my voice was really high pitched. So, and plus I had...
I don't know what look you were going for, and I don't know why you were angry, but what did you expect?
I was a confused...
I'm a man!
That's exactly what I said. Dude, I was a teenager. I had no identity, okay? I didn't have any sense of self. So...
did you get, didn't you, I don't know, well, I had a sister, so she had dolly magazines, and fucking they talk about periods, but there was guy magazines like Ralph.
fuck the magazines. I had the whole class is laughing, and the only way that I can prove that I'm not a she was yelling out loud in a girl's voice, "I'm a man." So it didn't help.
It was like, oh, what a dickhead! It's made it worse.
The first memory that I can remember with you is we were standing in line to get into visual arts class.
Visual arts, yes. You fucking mad cunt, man. But now go on, you explain the story. And then I'll explain the story from my end.
Okay, this is my perspective. I didn't have too many friends, and I'm like, okay, what's a good way to make new mates? I'll try to crack a really shit joke, or well, I thought was a funny joke at the time. So you and a friend of ours, shout out to if he even watches this, Mandeep, it was standing in line to get into visual arts class, and you guys were laughing about something, and I didn't even know what it was, I think. So I'm like, oh. So I turn around trying to join in on the whole talk, being like, oh, that's real funny, dude. You should do stand-up.
And I literally, this is all I did, just to offend you. You should do stand-up. And you were fucking talking. What fucking kind of lame shit is that? Stand up. And then that's all I had as ammo. And for some reason, it worked.
Yeah, because it really hurt my feelings. Like, the way you do it, it just comes off really insulting. I was like 13. I had no sense of self. I was like, oh. And both you and Mandeep were doing it.
Yeah, I know. Bro, like, literally, that's all we had. And we were just bouncing off each other. You should just stand up. And like, me and us, we had the time of our lives. Bullying was great. But yeah, like, from what I remember when you told me what happened after that, like you went home and you were like, "Fuck, man, that day was a great day."
Fuck you! I had a bad day.
What?
I was more like, whoa.
Mama. I had a frown.
I was trying to join in on a joke. Oh, this is how it would have probably gone down with my mum. Mum, I was trying to tell a joke, but they laughed at me. She would have been like, "That's because they're jealous, honey. They're jealous of you."
That is such a thing your mum would say. If they, yeah, like, you know, I'll give it to your mum. Anyway,
you mean like compliments to my mum, right?
Yeah, compliments.
Yeah,
compliments. Okay. I was just about to say, like, you're talking about no sense of identity or anything like that. Dude, did you have anything to read? Like, what at that time, I actually got my dad to subscribe me to Ralph magazine, right? And I'm like, we were in year 7 at the time, yeah? This is how I convinced him. Dad, fucking, like, my sister Jenna fucking gets Dolly magazines. Why can't I get a male magazine? It's the same thing.
You're fucked.
Dolly magazines, they fucking talk about fucking broken fingernails in their vaginas. Periods.
Well, yeah, that's
like,
true.
what's this? I was so surprised at Dolly magazine.
That is so true. That's a good point.
And then I'm like, what's this Ralph magazine? And so I was subscribed for at least like 3-4 weeks until he actually read through one of the magazines and saw a lesbian pulling down a G-string from another lesbian. And then he was like, Amir, this is not for you. He was so proud and disappointed at the same time.
Oh, speaking of your dad, man, and his accent, your dad is just genuine stereotypical Filipino nice man. I swear to God, he's just the nicest.
Hi, Imran, how are you?
Yeah.
Hi, Imran. How are you?
Even if he's telling you off about a magazine you can't read, he's still like really nice about it. No, this is not for you.
I know, like I try to find his like pressure points on like where he draws the line and when he gets a bit angry. Yeah, it's either when I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm very unreasonably racist, just to get a reaction.
Wait a minute, unreasonably racist? What about that time when he almost hit someone with his car?
I remember I was sitting in the car with him and he's fucking driving. It was so casual, like he picked me up from the station. This is before like no license. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, Dad's picking me up. Anyway, in the car, nighttime, we're driving. there was like, truth be told, you know, his like it was nighttime. The headlights were on. I could see. There's a guy walking across the road. It didn't matter what color he was, Dad. It didn't matter what color it was. Like, there is something crossing the road. And then I look over,
Something.
and then my dad drives up real close to him and then pauses in front of him. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, what? I couldn't see them. And that's when I knew he's just fucking, what is it? Fucking unconsciously racist.
What was the color of their skin?
I believe it, because he was in Australia, so it was, I believe it was Australian, I believe it was African Australian.
Okay, so they were black. The people that were in front of his...
You know your jumper?
Yeah.
Not the white one.
A very nice, unreasonable racist. Fair enough. Nice dad.
But I couldn't see them. Dad, that's fucking rude, man. That's so fucking rude.
I hope Leo's watching this right now. Shout out to Leo.
Oh, yeah, man.
We were talking about this a couple of days ago. Do you ever remember?
No.
Oh, thanks, man, for straightening out your shirt so people know.
No. I don't like creases in my shirt I got in the night factory in Turkey.
Arsehole. So, have you ever spread any rumors about mates?
Year 7, I believe there was, like, you're trying to make friends. You're trying to hang out with friends. Back then, I was playing a lot of games, like CS, fucking StarCraft, or Diablo 2, like year 7. So we're talking about what, 2001?
Yeah.
Man, you're talking about fucking Blizzard owning it, like fucking. We're talking about Pentium 2s, Pentium 3s. Ooh, Pentium 4s. Like, all that excitement. So, you're playing fucking Counter-Strike 1.6 on lag on fucking dial-up as well. So that was the rough gaming back in the day. And, like, I thought, hey, let's talk to people and see, like, hey, man, do you play Counter-Strike? So there was this one guy, shout out to Ayaz, fucking dickhead, like, at that time. I was like, hey, man, do you play a game called Counter-Strike? And in front of people, he was like, I don't play babyish games.
Oh, no. Did you just embarrass Amir in public?
Oh, dude, like, that was fucking dirt, man. You don't fucking do... And not only that, but everyone played Counter-Strike at fucking internet cafes.
Anyone else
afterwards.
at that point would have been like, yeah, bro, let's go. Let's play after school. But no, you
But
got
yeah,
embarrassed, dude, in front of everyone.
I'm like, oh, shit, that's fucking shit.
That is rude.
And then I remember, I think it was Yonep, nearby, another mate, shout out, he was just like, with his fob laugh.
Yeah, which adds to the fucking embarrassment.
Oh, it hurt even more. Like, hearing that fob laugh, you're like, oh, no.
I'm a nothing.
I'm just, sad face. And, so, yeah. So, obviously, I was a bit fucking, I was a bit affected by that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how can I get revenge? So I'm like, okay. So I started spreading a rumor he's gay and tried to touch my dick. So simple. So simple. Very incriminating, in fact. It's like, yeah, dude, like I was
Yeah, because everyone's gullible too.
Here's a backdrop. Yeah, dude, I was trying to chuck a piss and he tried to fucking grab my dick.
I don't swing that way, but if anyone was looking to hit on someone else, I don't think they'd do it while they're chucking a piss.
Well, according to my fucking rumor, right? That's exactly what happened, dude.
Oh man, look at that piss spitting out dick. I gotta touch it.
I just want to grab it, man. I just want to grab it and have my way. I'm so attracted. Yeah, so, and then, like, from there, it just fucking, yeah.
So it turned into something, didn't it? What did they call him?
Gay ass.
This escalated to Chinese whispers.
After a while, I was just like, okay, I don't really give a shit. But then everyone took the ball and ran. I actually kind of felt bad. Like, I think people would throw fart bombs in his bag.
Oh, I remember there was a phase where everyone enjoyed putting fart bombs into people's bags and shit. That was a phase, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was a victim. A victim to the cause.
Wait a minute, there was fart bombs that existed? Like, do they still make those anymore? Have you ever...
I think so, yeah, but it smells like rotten eggs.
Oh, fucking hell,
in a way.
fart bombs.
But I still remember, like, someone shoved it in his bag. I remember, like, he was coming up to us and we knew the fart bomb went off in his bag. And we're like, oh, dude, did you stuck a shit in your bag, dude? And obviously the reaction was, I didn't fucking shit in my bag!
How could you convince other people that a student would get so desperate they shit in their own fucking bag?
Dude, like, it's so weird. There's a fucking toilet there. Why would you go out of your way to chuck a shit in your bag, man? That's weird. And then, obviously he was denied.
Yeah, which makes it worse. Because it's like saying, hey, I'm not insane. It's the same shit.
Yeah, stop it. I didn't chuck a shit in my bag. And then, obviously, the evidence was there where, straight out, man, it was like everyone was on the same page, but not him. Another person, Conan.
Yeah.
I spread a rumor that he had a 18-inch cock.
You really enjoyed this spreading rumors thing. Like, you found it worked, though.
Oh, no, dude. Like, so what I'd do was I'd spread the rumor, and I'm like, hey, Conan, is it okay if I could spread a rumor that you've got an 18-inch cock? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, I already did it. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness.
That's a mad rumor. I'd be happy with that.
Well, the funniest thing was girls would go up to him. I'm not going to name their names, but girls would go up to him like, hey, man, is it true?
An interesting way to point out the wild ones. So, okay, this is partially a compliment and it's also partially an insult.
Fuck you, invert.
So, I've always said that when it comes to solving problems, because you're considered sometimes to be a very lazy person, you might deem it to be efficiency.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, or you might deem it to be efficiency. You're pretty good at coming up with innovative solutions with solving that problem. Can you ever name a scenario or remember a time where you've done something like this, where you were sitting around, you were super lazy, and you had to, I don't know, get something, so you reached over with a fucking... Well, okay, fine. If you can't think of it now, I've got an example, right?
Yeah, give me an example.
So,
your questioning was very robotic and scary.
Right, okay. So I'll bring up...
Error. Did you have a time in your life that you were lazy to get...
JJ gives me shit for that too. It's because I take my time and I'm trying to think of the shit as before I say it. I'm too slow.
Yeah, because that's not annoying.
All right, so... You were living in your granny flat, right? And
yeah.
So there was a... This is the only way I knew the story. There was a fucking cockroach dead on the floor, and it looked like its head was flattened or some shit. And I'm like, bro, that's gross. Like, do you want to fucking get rid of it? And you're like, why, dude? And I'm like, what happened? And you go, well, I was walking around, and it was there, and I had nothing on me, and I wasn't wearing any socks or shoes or anything.
No, that's a different story. I'll tell you that story afterwards, right?
Okay.
So I remember this story because... just like in your previous podcast, you butcher all the stories. Anyway, that's something else to talk about.
Hold on, I'm going to point this out quickly. In the previous podcast, I was fucking on my own, dude, which was amazing, by the way.
Wait, no, I haven't watched it yet.
Well, you'll find out why it's so cringe. Anyway, yeah, go on.
What actually happened was I killed it, and then I'm like, okay, I'll sweep it away later. It was just unfortunate that you came earlier than expected before I cleaned up the cockroach mess. Mind you, it did look like it's been there for a day because it was. Because as you said, I do tend to be a bit lazy, and by a bit lazy, a lot lazy. Anyway, you're like, dude, why the fuck is that cockroach there? and now there's ants going towards it, and I'm like, fuck, what's a good excuse? Dude, it's there for a reason. You're like, what the fuck's the reason? You got ants in your room now? And I'm like, it's to show the other cockroaches, like, I mean business. And it's a fucking warning to the rest of them. And you're like this.
That's a dumb reason.
you're like, and I don't know if I was really convincing in my argument, but you were just like, dude, that sounds so dumb. Like,
it just shocks me.
Like, if it works, it works, but that's so dumb.
It shocks me because I'm like, wow, this cunt's got to clean up his room, but you just immediately came up for an excuse. And then after that, you're like, oh, now there's ants. So it's double shit.
So shit. So the story that you are clearly getting mixed up on was... there's a sunroom in my grandmother's house before. So, you see this fucking cockroach just fucking running around? It was a fat one as well. It's fat and juicy.
So, mind you, whoever was there is quite sensitive to this type of shit. Yeah, anyway, go on.
Yeah. So what happened was, it was running around and fucking, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to kill it. I didn't have any thongs on, right? So then I'm like, obviously I'm not going to step on it. Randomly in a basket was a fucking packet of sporks. Shrink wrapped or whatever. I'm like, sweet, I'll throw it at the cockroach. That sounds like a good idea. So I fucking peg it at the cockroach. I get it, but then it just fucking crawls away as if like it was literally no effect. I was so sad. And then what happened was, now this cockroach is fucking, now I could see this cockroach is being fucking mean because it's looking at me going, suck shit, I live. You take a chink in my fucking ego or fucking my, my pride, I'm fucking burning your house down.
I'm pretty sure that's what this cockroach was doing. Yeah, sorry, go on.
And this motherfucking cockroach was doing that. So essentially, after throwing the sporks, you could see that fucking cockroach going, suck shit, you dog. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking funny, is it? And now it's taunting me because it's near my foot, right? Now my foot's hovering over it, and I'm looking at the cockroach, looking at Francis or Jace or whoever was there at the time. I'm looking at them, looking at the cockroach, looking at them, looking at the cockroach, and then I go like this. It was fucking, oh man, how can I explain it? Imagine, right, stepping on a fucking half-frozen Super Duper that's warm. Half-frozen Super Duper that's warm, and he's like, you can feel the crunches, man. And it wasn't cold, it was warm. Oh man. And then I'm just,
that's fucked up.
and then I'm just like, boom. I left it. I remember the people around were just like, oh, that's so fucking disgusting. I heard it fucking pop, man.
Oh.
It was so disgusting.
Dude, how do you still have your dignity, man?
I'm a killer, just don't push me. I fucking, shout out to Tupac. We go way back. We go way, Nick.
So, I wanted to talk a little bit about, what's currently going on at the moment. Okay, a lot of people are getting sick. Some people are dying. It's a shame, but apparently, everyone's making these jokes about toilet paper. So I'm like, oh fuck, okay, memes are going around. Some serious shit, because it is literally some serious shit. And I asked I called my stepdad up.
Oh, fucking dad joke, go on.
Yeah, and I said to him, I go to my stepdad. I go, what's up? Like, what's happening? Are you guys running out of toilet paper? Because I know that there's a shortage over there and stuff, or people are just fucking losing their minds. And he goes, mate, your mum and your grandma might stink, but you know me, I'll just use my fucking hand. I was like, how does that make you cleaner?
I guess in a sense it makes him cleaner when you think about it at a broader perspective, Imran. When you use that thing.
When I used that thing, I didn't know that this whole coronavirus pandemic would turn into people worrying about if they're going to get shit on their fucking hands. Like, what the fuck is going on out there, dude? I mean, yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, you know what? Actually, how is it over there in that's right, Launceston, wherever you're from.
I live in Swindon.
Yeah, Launceston.
Southwest UK.
Yeah, Tottenham. So one of those places. Yeah, how is it there? I heard there's fucking people dying and shit there.
It's spreading here, but at the moment it's at the point where Boris Johnson's not actually closing any workplaces or anything like that down. It's not widespread.
So large gatherings and whatnot.
Yeah, large gatherings are really stopping on their own accord. It's not because the government told them to. That's where we're up to. The EU is doing more of that. Like France has started closing down schools. Spain.
Yeah. But how weird is that? Like as a business, you expect for money to come in. But if nothing's selling, if there's a fucking global shutdown, what are the laws when it comes to fucking people getting fired or fucking, losing their jobs or anything like that?
It hasn't got that far yet, but I think, it will put I know it's a comedy podcast, but we are talking a bit serious, but it is interesting. I do want to mention it. It's going to put a stranglehold on a lot of businesses because, like you said, they can't sell and they can't buy either because a lot of what we buy where I work, they have to buy from the EU. And, it puts a chokehold, but people are trying to kind of brush it off like, oh, I guess it's okay. It won't happen to us.
Oh, it's real. I know, true, man. It's so fucking, it's such a tricky thing. What I reckon companies will probably do a restructure and let go of people.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because you're going to have to eventually, like you're not making any money and you're paying people to work from home. You're paying people for your company not to make as much money as it once was. So it wouldn't make sense. this is my belief. Everyone is trying to be really certain about what's coming, and we don't know. We just don't know. And I think it should be put out there. Uncertainty is causing mass hysteria and fear. It's as simple as that. We don't know what the fuck to do. Just ride the wave and calm the fuck down with ridiculous spending. Some cunts are putting on eBay, and the UK government is complaining at the moment. Some people are putting on like 72 rolls of paper and selling them for 50 fucking pounds. That's $80.
Hey man, you know what? Like, if there's money to be made, that's fine, man. In saying that, like, people aren't doing their own homework or research about the whole thing. It's affecting. Obviously, it's people are getting mild symptoms. But then the people that are drastically affected is the older people, essentially. So, like, if you're looking at younger people, they're only getting milder symptoms. Kids, for instance, are getting just normal mild symptoms as if it's the normal flu.
And I've also heard that some people are getting no symptoms and can have it and carry it.
Yeah, they can have it and carry it and pass it on. It's just it just differs from person to person. The only thing is, yes, it's a flu with no vaccine. Like, relax. Mm-hmm. Like, people are going to have to just ride it out. Mm-hmm. That's the only way to do it. That's why, like, people are getting isolated. That's why it's getting locked down. Because of certain stupidity, in a sense, now and mass hysteria.
It doesn't help.
Because what has now happened, my household's affected, because what's happened is just like, oh, gee, I need some toilet paper. Let's go to the shopping centre. Oh, there's no toilet paper. Fuck. Now you've created a reason for me to fucking overbuy toilet paper when it comes across. Now there's a domino effect of a whole bunch of people going, holy shit, toilet paper's pretty scarce.
That makes a lot of sense, because people are thinking that you're riding the wave when it's like, no, it's because you actually do need it because of these other fucking idiots that are making you panic. Like, oh shit, this stuff is scarce and it's my everyday item. And so, like you said, it just carries on. Domino effect.
So it's not so much you panicking, you're just responding to people fucking overbuying toilet paper.
Right, and then it just goes to show, I mean, what we will do if there was a virus that spread that had a higher mortality rate, for one, and two, what we would do if we actually start running out of more essential items such as food and water. We'll fucking panic and lose our minds. And this is just a preview to that, in my opinion.
Pretty much. So, like, the next time it does happen, hey, get a bidet. Get a bidet.
Or how about get a hobby? How about that one? Everyone's staying at home, they're chilling. Get a fucking hobby. Go for a hike. So you're very understanding when it comes to having friends of different cultural backgrounds, and it's very evident because this is one time that I'm pretty sure I really laughed myself into tears, man. It was that funny. We're sitting in your room, and we're talking about, you were actually being quite genuine, very like friendly about this topic too, because you said to me, bro, in my culture, what we do when we're showing respect to our elders, and this is where I'm going to butcher the story. What is it that you do with your elders when you're trying to show them respect in the Filipino culture?
Oh, we'll grab their hand and we bless them like that.
Right. Right. So as soon as you explained this to me, I'm like, cool, I'm going to come back with something genuine because I can relate. That's great. It got me excited. So I said to you, bro, we've got something similar in our culture where we, okay, before you cut in. So this is what we do. We either kiss the hand or we just tap our chin and then you tap the forehead to follow up. Right? But as I was explaining that, I go, so what you do is you kiss the hand, you immediately fucking abruptly cut me off.
No, I had a face like this. Like I was staring at you. As you were going, as we I was already staring at you with complete disgust. And I was like, and you're looking at me going, huh? And like confused. Like we kissed the and I just cut you off.
With a massive
cultural differences. So fucking ignorant. And your face was like this. Because like you're going off that, and it's so similar to how we treat our elders as well. And just to catch you off guard, because we're going through that yuck. You know how we're going through that yuck phase?
Yeah.
Everything was just like going, yuck! Fucking yuck! making someone feel like shit. That was the phase that we were going through. So then, like, the only way to catch you off guard was to make you be genuine, and then make you genuine, and then fucking rape you. And that's exactly what happened. Hence your reaction.
That was the first time, or one of the first times ever, that I really, really opened my eyes into the type of fucking person that you are when you're joking around.
I've got another story then, because, like, this completely relates to you. I was like, in my mind, I thought it was funny, but, like, do you remember the time I asked you, like, what do you reckon happens when you die?
The way that you asked me was, because I think we were, I think at this point, it was sort of like a deep and meaningful. So, like, my heart was kind of opening up a little bit more to you. We were really talking honestly with each other.
You fucking
Fag. What a fag thing to do. Fag.
No. Look, no. You could open up your heart, just not to me, dude.
No,
Can't.
because then at that point of the conversation, I was at a vulnerable point of the conversation, and you said,
dude, you were like.
You said to me, so what do you think happens, or what do you think particularly will happen to you when you pass away? And I said, well, man.
Yeah. See, notice how I said it. What do you reckon happens to you?
Well, and here I am, like, thinking, oh, he actually wants to know, like, what my either a cultural background relation thing again, or even what does your family
I shot myself
do?
in the foot.
So I was like, okay, so we would probably, they'd probably set up the funeral. Everyone would be quite sad, but they'll probably also call my friends or who they think my friends will be. And then I was full breaking it down to you. Like, I was being nice about it.
I was just like, this is not what I expected. But no, keep going.
And then, yeah, it went on for way too long for you.
It was like a good fucking 15 minutes of you pouring your heart out. And I'm like, wow, man. I'm thinking in my head, like, oh gosh, this is not what I wanted.
And then this and that will happen. And then I even went to the realm of possibility, like, you know what, though? If I had to choose, I would do a Viking funeral and all this shit.
I was tired from your fucking story and your fucking explanation because, like, not only couldn't I not cut you off, but you're pouring your heart out. And I'm just like, deep, man.
I wish I didn't do this.
and then I told you, I'm like, oh, dude, straight out, ask me what happens when I die. And you're like, what? Why? And then just ask me. And you're like, what would happen when you die, dude? The world ends. Everything ends. That's it. The world ends. And I stopped there. And the look on your face was this.
Jaw dropped. I was shocked.
You're so fucking egotistical.
What an arrogant prick, man.
I just wanted to be a bit arrogant, man. I just want to be self-centered a bit.
Jaw dropped in shock and awe, bro. Like, my mate is a fucking asshole.
And just your reaction. I'm just like, and then I followed it up with, like, hysterical laughing because I was like pointing out to you. That's all I wanted, man. That's all I wanted.
It's the longest setup for a joke that took way too long.
I was just like, okay, everyone's going to play their part. Okay, this guy has the ball. He's running now. He's running. Okay, what is he? Okay, he's doing things. Okay, now he's having sex with the referee. That's fucking weird. He's doing whatever he wants. God damn it, he's ruined my plans.
I do have one more question for you. I don't know if I should ask you this one.
No, save it, dude.
Okay, I'm going to save it. But,
you fucking shut down just...
No, I am going to save it because this has gone on for a while. And I really need to get on with my life. Amir, do you have any last words or anything you want to say before we close up?
I think, if anything, actions speak louder than words. And in saying that, my action was buying this shirt in the Nike factory in Turkey. So, if anything, I'll let my shirt do the talking.
I can't believe that would be something that's stock standard unless you had it made to fuck with me. Anyway.
Dude, no. It's just as common as the Nike tick, dude. You'll see a lot of I've seen one in blue, red, green. Red, obviously.
It's just very strangely specific. So anyway.
It's like a Nike tick, dude. Just think of a Nike tick. There you go.
Fuck you. And thank you for coming on the show. It was actually a pleasure having you on. Please follow, like, and subscribe. So we've got a thing going on now. We're going to start reading out any questions that anyone posts anywhere, and we'll read it in the podcast. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hey, like you said that last time, but let's be honest. Like, I've personally put up a question.
I read your question, and that was enough. That was a bad question.
But you can't lie to your audience and say you'll read and answer any question.
We read your question.
Audience member.
Your
no answer.
So Amir's question, before I close up, then Amir's question was no. We said okay. Here's some examples of questions. JJ said, how loose is Imran's mum's flaps? Which is very rude, by the way, and I love my mother. Amir
is it not a question, though?
Amir responded to that question on YouTube saying loose. So I'm not happy.
No, I didn't say loose. I asked that exact same question with no answer. So then I had to answer it myself.
Fuck you, dude.
I was so neglected, dude. I was so neglected. Just don't neglect the next person.
Awesome.
Pay it forward, dude. Pay it forward.
So yeah, again, like, follow, subscribe. We're on everything: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're also on TikTok. And yeah, please give us a shout out, give us anything, and we will mention you on the podcast.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for again watching and listening.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Take care, man. Oh, thanks again for inviting me to your podcast. Fuck piece of shit.
Asshole cunt.
Huh? Fuck you, Imran, you dog.